Hey guys, Pegwarmer here. Today I'm going to be taking a look at G.I. Joe Classified Series Roadblock. Roadblock is number 01 in the series, even though he is actually the second figure in the line. And don't worry, the numbering isn't going to make much sense moving forward. The box art for Roadblock is great. I really like this pic with him in the shades, but we'll have to wait for Cobra Island Roadblock before we can get too much further into that. We got the usual box art on the back, showing different things we can hopefully come to expect. And we have the usual warnings here on the back. Do not play with Happy Fun Ball, do not taunt Happy Fun Ball, etc. We got 01 on the top. More Fun Ball warnings on the bottom, and that's it. So now moving to the other side of the box. Here we get our first look at the new file card system in the Classified line. It seems like a lot of people either complain about the lack of a proper file card or just kind of gloss over these, like, oh yeah, here are the new file cards, you got to look them online, blah blah blah. They don't really go much into them. I never had a lot of Joes as a kid, so I'm not really stuck on the idea of what a file card has to be. I am, however, an absolute and unrepentant Transformers G1er. So I'll get into what each one of these are, but just for reference, according to Hasbro, these icons represent the following things in this order, so starting from top to bottom. Roll, which is what the character does. Gear, what the character uses. Skill, what the character is good at. And mastery, what the character is best at. So for Roadblock here we have the following. He's a Vanguard level 4, means he's in the front line of combat taking the fight to the enemy. Next up here we have his heavy weapons, is level 3. He can wield huge weapons with high destructive power. Next up we have strength, level 4. Possesses immense physical power. And then lastly we have artillery, level 4. Uses powerful weapons to destroy targets from long distances. Let's get Roadblock and his accessories out of the package and take a good look at him. Alright, here he is, and we'll start with the accessories. He has this small knife, which looks to be molded out of silver plastic. It has nice details, but no paint. And it fits right here in the sheath on his chest. He comes with a clip for his weapon. And it looks like it's also molded in silver plastic, but it does have a little bit of paint. You can see it there. It's a nice little detail. And it does fit nicely in the weapon. And lastly, he comes with the weapon. I know traditionally Roadblock comes with his M2 Modus 50 caliber machine gun. And I know that there's been a lot of complaining about his weapon not being that M2. And a lot of complaints about the weapons overall in the line. I personally like the approach they took with this weapon. As soon as you look at it, you can tell it's a heavy weapon, both probably in terms of weight and that it deals a lot of damage. I was going to say that I really liked the translucent blue in the barrel here, but when holding it up to the light, you can see that it also transparent right there in these two little grooves. There's also a little bit right here. Oh my god, more golden retriever hair. Ugh, friggin' dog. And even back here. And then the more I looked at it, it's almost like that the whole way through. So I'm starting to think that this whole gun is actually translucent plastic. Blue translucent plastic that they painted over. Which would, I guess, explain why he only comes with, this clip and the knife, because they spent a ton of money just to paint this. I mean, would have been fine if it wasn't transparent blue in the front, and throughout, and they would have given us maybe a few more accessories, but whatever. So anyway, so here it is. I do like it, but now having said all that, I did play the G.I. Joe Operation Blackout game, and this gun is in it, and it's crap. It's a terrible gun. At least I hated it. I couldn't do squat with it. So, thought it's some kind of like lightning gun or something. They could have made it something cool, like a rail gun or some kind of laser blaster. But no. So I'm just going to ignore what it does in the game, and I'm going to pretend it's something cool like a rail gun or a laser blaster. So that's the end of the accessories. So Roadblock, whose real name is Marvin F. Hinton, it looks great. I mean, the face printing in this line is amazing, and Roadblock is no exception. The eyes are painted nicely, detail in the eyebrows. There's even like a sort of a wrinkle right here where his brow's kind of furrowed. I mean, it's just awesome. Like, you just look at it and think, oh, what's he thinking about? I like the beard. It's a cool look to go with the mustache. Let's see. Oh, his tattoo is pretty badass. It's a lion roaring. It does get a little bit messed up when you use the bicep swivel, but it's cool. It looks good enough in most poses, and it kind of gives it that extra nudge of realism. So moving down, the vest is great, and it looks like it's an homage to the 1986 V2 version of Roadblock. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the gold, but I don't mind it, really. It wouldn't have been my first choice, but I like Roadblock and all the other figures so much that I can totally forgive it. Now, that being said, I'm definitely going to be picking up the redeco of Roadblock and Scarlet when they come out, and any other redecos they do, because I'm trying to get every figure in the line. The gloves are a cool touch. I'd like to think that these are kind of weighted. And the pants and shin guards and boots really round out the look. I think it looks great, and again, I have no issue with the gold. Moving on to articulation. His head is on a ball joint with another ball joint in the neck, just like Snake Eyes. So he can look up, not very far. Part of this vest gets in the way. Not much, but so you can, if you do it too hard, that's about as far as I can get him to look up. And he can look down pretty well, especially when you utilize that joint in the hinge, the extra ball joint in the neck. He's got butterfly joints, but they don't really do anything. So here, they don't really make much of a difference. It's still nice that they're there, but I don't know why they are. His arms, they rotate 360 with no problem. He's got pretty decent shoulder articulation. Goes up pretty high. We've got a bicep swivel. We got the double jointed elbows, but he is just so swole that he can't really do much beyond that. But that's still a decent range. I mean, that's pretty great. Disappointingly, his wrist hinges go from side to side, not up and down. Now, I've only that's all, folks. I've only been able to pose his gun a certain way with him, so it doesn't really matter. But if you want him using anything other than the weapon that he came with, you'd be wishing that he had those up and down hinges. The legs drop down, just like in Snake Eyes, and he can go all the way out, which is amazing. Now, mine's a little loose, and he can go front and back pretty good. He's got a double knee, but again, he's just so darn buff that he can't kick his own butt. Let's see, he's got a thigh swivel and boot swivel and rockers on the feet. Go side to side, point up not very far because of the shin guard here, but can go down pretty good. He's got all the same joints that Snake Eyes does, but because of the mass of the character, there's not as much flexibility for posing, but that's alright, because to me anyway, Roadblock's more of a tank character, so I mean, he's not going to be doing crazy ninja poses, because that's not what he is, it's not what he does. But I do appreciate that they put those additional joints in there. They didn't have to. Here we have Roadblock next to the Snake Eyes Deluxe that I just reviewed, and next to my first attempt at a custom job, and not much of one really. I took a Marvel Legends Shang-Chi and tried to paint him up and make a custom quick kick. I'd seen a couple other people do it. Seemed easy enough, and I think it turned out pretty good. That's going to be my quick kick until Hasbro releases one. Hopefully they do. Let's see how he looks next to some other Marvel Legends. Alright, and here we have Roadblock with some of the bigger Marvel Legends that I have. We got Cable, Korg, Groot, Hercules, and Skullbuster. Roadblock looks a little bit smaller compared to some of these guys. Now, he does look to be almost the same height as Skullbuster here. Yeah, they're just about the same height. Roadblock's kind of hunched over a little bit, holding that gun. He fits in well. He looks like one of the bigger bruiser kind of characters from Marvel Legends, so that looks great. And here we have Roadblock with Captain Phasma, IG-11, K2SO, Sand Trooper, and Greedo. Again, I think the Marvel Legends, maybe it was because of the characters I picked, but they seemed all a little too big. And these guys seem a little too small, maybe? He poses well. Now, he does look a bit more cartoony with, you know, the big star on his chest and that kind of stuff, as opposed to the finer details in like K2SO and IG-11. He still would fit in that universe, I think. I don't think I'll have any issue having a little cross-play between Black Series and G.I. Joe. Now we're on to the vehicles. Here we have Roadblock on Squirrel Girl's scooter. He looks just amazing. Like, I'd be terrified if I saw him heading for me. He almost sits on it, not quite. And I love the way his feet are like angled in, his legs have to angle in. And here we have him on the speeder bike. Again, looks pretty good. Can't quite get his feet in the pegs correctly. And he's not entirely sitting down on it, but in a pinch, it'd work. So, not really a bad look. I'm kind of liking it. Well, I don't think he's going to be traveling the Junlin Waste anytime soon. He doesn't fit in the driver's side and just barely fits in the passenger side, and he's still kind of way too big in it. He's supposed to be 6'6", and I don't know that somebody that big would fit that comfortably inside one of those land speeders. And here we have Roadblock in Professor X's hover chair. I gotta say, I didn't think he'd fit. He actually fits pretty well. It's not scaled for him. It would be bigger, but just the fact that he even fits in at all, I think, is pretty cool. Overall, I really enjoy the figure, and I love posing him with the other Joes. Now, due to the semi-awkward nature of the weapon, he can only really hold it this one way. But when he does, I think it looks pretty cool, and it reminds me of Vasquez and Drake's M56 smart guns from Aliens. I think Marvin here would look awesome next to Vaz kicking some alien ass. So obviously I highly recommend the figure, and he's a great way to start the line. So yes, I would strongly recommend Roadblock. He's a great heavy tank kind of figure. He fits in with lots of different scales, and even though it's a little awkward to hold his gun, when you get him in the right kind of situation, he'll look perfect with it. So if you like this video and you want to see more, please like and subscribe. It will really help my channel grow, and it would mean a lot to me. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next one.